uh, feedback on Lucy from a customer today. They actually interacted with him,
Okay. What? And
and it was positive.
good.
It
Um,
was positive. So it was very polite, very professional. Easy to understand,
love it.
and and Kirsten was, kind of concerned about the the time wait, the times in between a conversation. It doesn't
Yeah.
really keep it up.
It's got to think about it for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, but he didn't seem to mind it one bit.
I feel like that can only improve over time. It's not going to get slower. Like I feel
Yeah,
like that's something that and honestly, I mentioned this before, but when um, in, again in March, ChatGPT said that they were going to open up their actual API, and they haven't yet. And so I am hoping that when they do, that it'll be accessible to, because if you've ever chatted with a ChatGPT, their version, it is so seamless, and the way that it talks, it has more uh, human behavior. It will pause and
Peter
uh,
was right.
yeah,
Well,
it's very cool. And so yeah, I'm enjoying seeing those calls come in, and trying to improve. I made an improvement just this morning that we're trying to rewrite the code for, but um, there was somebody that called that had uh, was talking very very quietly, and um, and so she was giving her email address, and she was saying it okay, but the AI agent was trying to repeat it back, and because it was an email where it was like first name dot middle initial dot last name, the AI agent was having trouble comfortably saying it back. It captured it correctly, but it was not repeating it back, and so we're changing that so that if the person says it and it doesn't catch it right, or the person said, "Oh, hey, you didn't get it right," it's going to say, "Hey, can you just tell it to me one more time?" And then this call is being recorded, so this is like a voicemail. We can always go back and listen to it just to make sure that we got it correctly. But um, in that particular call, the agent went back and forth with the caller like 3 times on the email, and I'm like,
no,
oh, they're getting frustrated. I would too.
well,
So
left. Left. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but I don't think the email forwarding's working yet.
okay. So you didn't get any today?
No.
Okay. Um, so we'll tackle that. And I completely rewrote it, so it's beautiful now. But obviously, it's not beautiful if you don't get it. So I appreciate you being a guinea pig. I don't think anyone will have an agent as complicated as yours. Um,
Really?
well, I think that you have set the bar very high on like the questions to ask and the thing, and I think it's great because it, like I said, I can use that as a template, but it's not it, there's a lot of questions even in our clients that we've developed websites for. They're not going quite as detailed into, some do, some want to know like, okay, well, you have a crawl space, well, what's the square footage, what's the what's the material inside, that kind of stuff, and those, it's all great questions, and especially if the caller feels like they're having a fluid conversation, that it's natural. It's not like filling out a form with 1,000 questions. You're just having a conversation about the house. So I like it. I think it's I think that it's creating a ton of really great data, which I hope will really speed up the quoting process, and obviously if a call is 7 to 10 to 12 minutes, that frees up the time that um, you could be on the phone with somebody. So that's always a good thing as well. So
I'm super excited about it.
yep, it's pretty great. And again, I feel like I'm having every day I'm having like the, wake up at 2 a.m. with an idea, kind of like, oh, hey, what if we did this? Could this trigger this, and could this do that? And so it's really fun experimenting with the process and seeing all the different things that you could do. So yeah, it's certainly going to be a game changer. So I love it. But yeah, we'll continue to get that dialed in for you. So we're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well. Got those going. We got a few people over on Facebook watching us, and so if you have some questions and things that's that you're interested in, one of the as I have been working on these AI phone agents, it gives a lot of opportunity for automations inside of your CRM, your client or customer relationship management program. There are obviously tons and tons of different CRMs out there. If you're using, a Service Titan or a Jobber or a there's a few different ones. We actually have two separate ones that we integrate with our clients, and they are pretty amazing, and with just unlimited opportunity and all this AI stuff that's coming in makes it even more exciting. What we're doing now is we're trying to figure out, okay, well, what are the things that you can automate inside of your business, things that you're doing, duplicating over and over again. And, what are those things that we can do to free up your time, increase your speed to lead, speed to getting back to clients, getting information to clients. And this is going to be kind of a high level conversation about it. Obviously we don't, we've been off and on here and having people join us. So we don't have a ton of people that are joining us right now, which is fine. I hope you guys are, getting ready to wrap up your jobs for the week. And if you're if you're anywhere near us, or in the Midwest, the weather's still crazy hot. It's 89 degrees right now on October 3rd. So if your pools are still open, if you're heading to the lake, I hope that you're ready to just check out and go have fun. But I wanted to kind of give some like 30,000 foot ideas of things that you can do and automate, and I can kind of show you the process in one of the softwares, obviously the one that we use, and from that, if you're watching this later, watching it on YouTube, you're watching it on Facebook later, drop a comment, and if there's something that you want me to go deeper into, or ideas that we can go into that are more intricate into the actual showing how we do this, that's fine. I really stand by the obviously I want you to automate things so that it frees up your time, but I also want you to outsource things so it frees up your time. So I'm going to show you stuff that you could potentially do yourself, but there's a reason that I exist, and that's to build this stuff for you so that you don't have to learn how to do it, learn how to, put it all together. And a lot of you guys are like me. You like to learn how things are done. You like to make it yourself. I am on this never-ending project in my backyard, and now I'm building a retaining wall. So I'm spending, I'm sitting here working, but in the, in my other window on my computer, I'm playing, videos on YouTube on building retaining walls and all the different, it's a small one, but I don't want to build it again. And, part of me is like, I just need to pay somebody to do this, but I also enjoy doing it myself. So, it's a bit of, you know, torture that I enjoy, I guess, right? So as we're looking at the automations, things that you can do inside your business, maybe I should probably start with like, what is an automation? You'll also hear me call it a workflow. Um, I have workflows in my agency where if you become a client of mine, it's going to trigger a bunch of different things. So after we have that first, meeting, we're going to, you're going to sign on the dotted line, you're going to become a client. And then from there, there's a lot of things that I need in order to do my job. So I need access to your website. I need access to your Google business page, profile page. I need access to if you're using any of those other CRMs or things like that. And so I have basically questionnaires or survey forms that I've created that are like once a client says, "Yep, we're good," and even I can get even more detailed in there. So, for instance, if you've ever had somebody that says, "Hey, yeah, I'm definitely hiring you," right? And you send them an invoice, and they don't pay it. They didn't hire you. They said they were going to hire you, but they didn't hire you. So I have triggers in there like, okay, invoice is sent, or contract is sent, contract is signed. That triggers, the invoice, or the invoice goes at the same time. And then maybe inside of the trigger, inside the automation, I have it so if the contract is signed and the payment is made, then it goes on to the next thing, because I don't need to get a bunch of stuff out into your hands if you're not 100% serious. You're not actually going to hire me. So then it sends out this form, and then I have it, maybe I have a simple form that's just, hey, give me your the business address, your name, that kind of stuff. From there, when that's completed, then that triggers another form and another form and another form. Then those are the kinds of things that we can do inside of your Radon business. So, for instance, we go way, way, way back to the very beginning, and we say, okay, someone's on your website and they fill out a form, or they call you, and in Jim's case, those of you that are, joining in, Jim is talking about how he's now using our AI phone agent. And so that AI phone agent is acting like the contact form on the website. So there's two different ways that a lead can come in, whether it's on the phone or it's in the or it's through the website. So you could separate the triggers, because you say, okay, the person who fills out the website has a different behavior than the person who's on the phone. We know that they want to talk on the phone. They didn't want to fill out the website. So you could change the behaviors inside the triggers, but let's just say, okay, a lead comes in. Now what? All right. So if the lead comes in, now we're going to say, what do we want to happen? And this is obviously different for every company, but do you have some type of let's use the behavior of going in and filling out a form on your website. So do you want the client to get some type of notification that they filled out the form? Okay, so super simple. They if you just said, okay, they filled out the form, do you want them to know that it was successfully filled out? And let's say you do. Okay. So now we're going to say client fills out form, customer fills out form. How do you want them to be notified that they filled it out correctly, or they filled it out at all? So now we have a couple different, the trigger is form filled out. And right now we're just thinking about the path through. I should be doing a whiteboard here, but we're just thinking about the path of the client itself, right? So we are thinking that we want the customer to say that they're going to get a text message, right? So we can have them send a text message. We can have the when the lead generation form or the contact form is filled out, it can then text the customer and say, thank you for filling it out. Here's the things. We're going to get back to you soon, right? So that customer immediately gets a notification that they're that they filled it out correctly, right? You could also have it send an email. And so the email is going to look different because now we have their information. It's an email saying, here's the information you filled out, but also you can make it a little more personal. And you can say, hey, thank you for filling it out. Here are the next steps, right? Let's say that we're going to talk about mitigation, right? So the customer fills it out and they're looking for a radon mitigation. So when that comes in, now there's more that we want to tell them about our service or about the mitigation or what we need to do to get the quote. So let's say that there is that we know that they had a professional radon test. And if you are at least in Illinois, those tests, the reports are fairly detailed. They have the schematics, they have the square footage, they have listings where all the utilities are in the basement. They obviously have the radon report. When I was testing, when I had my radon testing business, I would include several different pictures of the basement. I had a pretty good idea of where the mitigator was going to want to put a suction point. So I threw those photos in there so that the mitigator could see that. My goal as a tester was, how can I keep the mitigator from having to go do a site survey in order to put a quote together? If I could do that and I could save them some time, I'm going to have mitigators throwing me business as well. And so I was pretty detailed on that, but it's all inside of the report. And I was using at the time, EcoSense. They're right on iPros, and so the EcoSense report is really nice as well. And so with that said, we need that report from the customer. So if they filled out a contact form, or if they called in, they're probably sitting on that report on their computer in an email. Maybe they have to scan it in if it was printed out to them, and we want to give them an opportunity to fill that out or to send that in to help out. So I'm going to go over. Let me just pop over to my browser window here, and I could give you an idea of here is like our simple CRM. I'm going to see how big I can make this, and I think I can make it even bigger. Oh, I have there we go. Okay. So inside of the CRM, I might create an automation or what's considered a workflow. And what's going to happen here is, it's always kind of an if-then, sentence, right? So I'm going to create a workflow, and here's just some, they have recipes, things that they've already built. So you could do, and we'll come back to different ideas, but like an email drip sequence or things like that. But I'm just going to create one from scratch. Even this has AI built into it now. So I could come here and say, when a customer fills out a contact form on my website, I want to send them a email confirmation and give them the opportunity for upload photos of their property. So not sure if you can. Oh, and I need to over on Zoom. Give me a second, guys. You can't see this yet. So if you're watching this on YouTube or on, let me see, where's my Zoom? Okay, I'm going to change my. All right. Thumbs up if you can see me in the screen now. Thank you, Dave. All right. So Dave's in charge of my responses now. Thank you. So what I just used the AI in this, and I said, when a customer fills out a contact form on my website, I want to send them email confirmation, give them the opportunity to upload photos of their property to assist with the creation of a quote. So I'm just gonna hit go on that. I know I know how to build this pretty quick, but this is kind of neat that there's now an AI version inside of creating the workflows and the triggers and all that kind of stuff. So when we talk about it, again, the trigger is contact form filled out, or phone call came in. You could have the when we start talking about like triggers for the entire process, then that'll change. But here's the trigger. You can have more than one trigger. So I could have it be the contact calls back in and requests another quote, or maybe that triggers the same thing. So the trigger is that the form is submitted, contact form is submitted, and then it comes down and it does this. And I'll zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. I know that I want to see if I can close out on this. Nope, I don't know how to close out. Okay, so here's the contact form trigger, and then from there it's going to come down here, send confirmation email with photo upload link. So I'm going to click on this, and now it's going to get a little bit more detailed on the things that we can do with it. So now we're going to come in and it's going to give me the options of like what the email itself and what it does. So I can change in the email what the from, like when you were looking in your email inbox, what the from name is. So in this case, this is going to the client. So I'm going to do, Ben's Radon Experts Incorporated. And then so the email that I'm going to send it from is going to be Ben, or let's do info at Ben's Radon Experts. Now, you don't want to make something up that you don't actually own, because now we start to get into the spoofing things where stuff says starts to think that it looks like spam, and that's obviously not helpful. But so this would be something that you already own. In the case of when you get a lead in and it comes to you, now we're making sure that it says it's from the name of the customer, and that's a different thing, and then their email. So you could just hit reply. So it already put a subject in here. It says, "Thank you for your inquiry. Upload your property photo." So it came up with a subject line, which is cool. I may change it to "Thanks for contacting Ben's Radon Experts," or whatever. And then you can actually create templates that you can reuse. But now I'm going to go down here to the message. And it looks just like if you were writing in Gmail or in your email program. Hello, contact first name. So it pulled that contact first name from the lead gen, right? The form. And then it says, "Thank you for reaching out to us with your inquiry. We appreciate your interest and are eager to assist you. To help us provide you with the most accurate quote and service, please upload photos of your property at your earliest convenience. You can use the following link to upload your images." And then you'll see down here, contact link to upload reports, photos of home basement. So this is the custom field that we've created inside of our CRM. So when they upload it, this is going to go into that customer's their contact with those photos. And then if you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to reply to this email and contact us directly. So this is just specifically an automation. So I don't have to call them. I don't have to ask for them. The language would change on this if the idea was that I wanted it to be upload of the radon report, right? If I maybe inside of the contact form or inside of the AI phone call, I know that in our AI agent that we have set up for Jim, it asks, was there a professional test? Is it a homeowner test? Is it a CRM? And so in that case, if, it's always these if then, right? If user says, yes, I have a professional test, then we say, cool, who did the test? And if you're like me, you know that, half of the people out there that are testing are not have no idea how to do an accurate test. And so, or the homeowner doesn't do an accurate test, or, so sometimes you see when it's that particular tester, you take that with a grain of salt, and you go, okay, if this this tester always puts it in the attic, right? They have no idea what they're doing. And so, but now if I know that it's a professional test, now it's going to trigger that automation asking for the radon report. Because, it may say, hey, do you have the radon report? And the user says, yes, I do. Great. We're going to send you, and you could do it as a text message. If they have it on their phone, obviously they can open it up. If you're like me and use, Apple products, my text messages come right on my, desktop. So it's seamless for me to go back and forth. But if you can send them that text message, they can click on it. You can even ask them in the call or in the thing, would you like us to text you a link, or do you want us to email you a link? Or they say both. So you send them that email link, they click on it, and then that's sent. You can also take the same, we're going to go back to, I'm like, cancel out of this. And so now I'm going to go back to workflows, confirm, and then I'm going to make another one. And we're going to use the AI again and said, a customer just filled out their contact form on my website. I want to email and text them to let them know we got their information. Include all fields collected. Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same thing. These AI things are great. I typically just build them from scratch, but this is actually helping me do this a little faster in the demo today. So this is going to do the same thing that I talked about earlier, which is contact form comes in, that's the trigger, or phone agent, comes in, that's a trigger. And then from there, it's going to say, it's going to send an email to the customer or send them a text message and say, here's what we collected. Thank you for contacting us. You can combine, for instance, in here. And so you'll see as this is created again, contact form submitted as the trigger. And then now it's doing two different things. It's sending a confirmation email and it's sending a confirmation SMS. So if I go down to the SMS, it says, hello, contact first name. Thank you for your submission. We've received the following details. Here's your name, email, phone, organization, state, so it has all the fields that they would have just filled out, and it puts it into a nice little, nice little form. Same thing, in the email, it says confirmation of your submission. I'm going to change that to something more friendly. Thanks for contacting Ben's Radon Incorporated. And then hello, thanks for contacting us. We've received your submission. And again, it has that same thing. You can actually get into this and make it a little bit, prettier, and say, you can make it, different colors, or you can do, change the background colors, or you can do things that, whatever you might do in an email. But it's going to produce this and send this off to them. Now, let's go a step past this because some of this is kind of basic and already built into some of the websites, obviously not SMS stuff. But let's say I want to add another thing, and now another action that happens after this. There's a million things we can do, and there's also a lot of different like plugins and things and stuff like that. But I'm obviously going to create a contact inside of our CRM. That's something that I want to happen, so I can trigger that. I can, if you have a bunch of different employees or a bunch of different salespeople, I can have it assigned to a specific person. So let's say it comes in and you are a company that offers both testing and for testing and mitigation, but you have a testing group and a mitigation group. So I'm going to assign this to a user based on the trigger. So if somebody sends a contact form in and says that they want to do testing, then I'm going to assign that to my employee that's in charge of testing. If I am going to, I can add notes, I can copy this, I can, modify it. There's also, if you're using inter-office things like Slack, I can send a message to Slack. I can send, other messages. I can do, things inside of WhatsApp and inside of Facebook. And so there's a bunch of different things that I can do, actions that will, I could do a webhook that sends it to a third-party CRM. So if you're using something like Jobber or ServiceTitan or any of those different things, we could have it come in like that. So that is, the differences on like what the trigger can do and what we can do from there. We can come in and have it book an appointment, right? So maybe it goes into if you have an appointment booking software, so it comes in that way. So a lot of different options inside of here. We can, there's literally hundreds of different of things that we can do inside of here. For instance, maybe you're using Google Workspace and you want it to create a contact inside of your email program. We can do that. These can all run simultaneously inside of the inside of your CRM. So that's just the simple, hey, lead is filled out. So now what are we going to do through the client journey? And again, if you're on Facebook, if you're in Zoom, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this and you've got a question, throw it in the comments, pipe in. I'm happy to take questions or go from there. But it's like I said, trying to just do like the 30,000 foot flyover here on how we can make this work and some just spawning some ideas of how we can interact with it. So then I'm going to get out of this workflow and confirm, and then we'll create a new one. Now let's say we want to, let's say the client is already a client, or they have hired you, they're on the schedule, but it hasn't happened yet, right? If let's say it's a mitigation client, they have not, they're 2 weeks out, for 10 days out from their day. Oh, let's go back a step. Let's say that they haven't picked a day. So maybe we use the automation to send them, and then we also use your calendar tool so that you have plugged in there days and times. So let's just say it's a simple mitigation. The house was built in the last 10 years, no crawl space. You're going to come in, throw a suction point in, you're going to be done. No, let's go 15 years back, or so that you don't have a passive system already built in. So in your company that takes 4 hours, right? 2 hours, 6 hours, if you're doing about whatever that amount of time is. So maybe you block off times in your calendar for those types of mitigations, and you have 6 of those available over the next 2 weeks. we use the automation to send to the client because you're playing phone tag with the client, and they go, hey, we're going to send out an automation that says, here are the days available. Claim one, name it, and claim it. And so we create that trigger where it goes out to the client. They do it. Now they're actually scheduling themselves. This is easier for people who are doing testing because obviously your drop-off pickup is a little more flexible, but we can also use, some AI in, location. So if you do a 20-mile radius, okay, cool. I'm only going to do these areas on this day. So the client is only given the option of those at the time. And so that is that they're going to schedule it themselves. They're going to have access to that themselves. And then let's say they've scheduled it and it's going to happen. Today's October 3rd. It's going to happen on October 15th. And so on October 15th, we're 12 days out. And now we're going to figure out what are the things that we need the client to know prior to mitigation, right? So let's just say preparing their home. We need to have access to all the mechanicals. We need to have access to the area needs to be clean. So we're going to make a list of those things, and we're going to create a notification that happens after they book the service. Because again, let's say their basement is a mess, it doesn't help to send that an hour before the job, or even sometimes the day before the job. So if you know that they need to get some things straightened away, or fixed or whatever, then that we have that trigger right away. So then let's say we have a payment reminder. If you have your people prepay for the job, then or maybe they put down a deposit for the job and then they pay afterwards, then we're going to send a notification that's a triggered out that they've booked the job. Here's a trigger out for for them to pay. And so now we're going to connect it with a Stripe or another payment processing, a PayPal or Venmo or however you're taking money, and QuickBooks, and we're going to have that trigger out so that they can make that payment. And so maybe you have to take payment the day before the job. So let's say that's your strategy. So you take you take a deposit now, or you wait for the payment until the day before the job, and you don't show up if you haven't been paid. So now we're going to trigger out that email. We're going to move the client through a pipeline. And so the pipeline is going to be new lead. Now it's maybe it's a warm lead. We've sent a quote. We've gotten the quote back. We've gotten they've booked the job. And so now the pipeline is triggered. Job is on this day. And so now the automation is keeping track of when the day is happening. And when it gets to that 1 day before or 48 hours before, now we're going to trigger one of those emails. So we're going to come in here and we're going to create this as a custom date reminder. And the custom date's going to be, okay, here's the day before this happens. We're going to create that as a trigger. And I can have it be really anything, but it's a custom trigger. It's based on email event. I could do it anything like that. So now I'm going to send out an email the day before that says, hey, we're going to be there. And then I also have in there the time that they've scheduled. So it's going to create that email that says, we're going to be there tomorrow at 9 a.m. Here's what to expect. Maybe I include a picture of the team so that the people know who's showing up. Maybe I put in there, here are the things that you need to do, or here's the, expectations for the day. We're going to be in your home for approximately 4 to 5 hours. We're going to start there at 9. We're going to take a 45-minute lunch around noon, and we'll come back at 1. So like those kinds of things we put in there so that the expectations are clear to the client. We're going to then say that payment needs to be made. Maybe there's a link to the payment at that point. Here are the things that you need to do to prepare. This is really great if we're talking about a radon test, right? Test is going to be placed tomorrow. You need to close your house now. We need to have closed conditions, and here's what that means. If you cannot do closed conditions or have not done closed conditions, here's the, you need to contact us here. And so those things are really, really great for radon testing and obviously in mitigation. Because what we don't want, and this has happened, I'm sure, to everyone who's been in this business long enough, that, the client schedules a job and then they forget that they didn't put it on their calendar. Or worse, it's for a real estate transaction and, no one told the homeowner. So there, you get there and they're all surprised that you're walking up with a ladder ready to get on the roof. And so what I'm going to do there is I may even include another trigger inside there that says, please, whether it's an email, whether it's a text message that says, please confirm 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and they have to click a button and it confirms. I have to do this to take my dog to the vet, right? So this is something that is standard now, right? And so because no shows cost money, we can do something else with that time if they're if they're going to back out. So I'm going to send that out the day before, and I'm going to give them the information that they need. We are getting really close to hopefully soon that our AI phone agents are going to be able to make that phone call too. So it's not only could be an email, text message, but it also could be an automated phone call, allowing the customer to ask questions as well, which is super cool. So then the next thing that's going to happen is we do the job is done, job is completed, and now there's things that we want them to know. Let's say the homeowner is not there. So maybe you have a kind of default video that you've shot or some type of thing that explains the system, explains the manometer, it explains, what to watch for if they've, if you sealed the sump basin, you want to make sure that they know that, they can't open that up, or they need to call you back, or if something changes, if they're going to do work on their HVAC, whatever. Maybe your warranty is only valid, or your guarantee is only valid if they do a follow-up test. So we're going to put all that stuff into into an email that is sent when the contact goes through this process and the workflow of the automation that says job is completed, and now we've moved that person through the pipeline into the completed job, section now. So now they get that, and really important, we're also asking for a review in there. So we're going to give them links to how to leave a Google review or a Facebook review or Yelp review or something like that. So that's the the job is done, same day that automation goes out thanking them. Maybe they have a payment to make then, so then you're sending the link out for that. Some of the stuff exists inside of some of these other CRMs, but if you're not using one like at all, this is a great function that we can set up for you. So then let's say we're going to do kind of a choose your own adventure here. Client pays, client's happy, client gets a follow-up radon report. Maybe you put a link in there for them to upload the follow-up radon report. So you have, and that's how your guarantee, your warranty is valid. So you're going to do that. So then we're going to, but they didn't leave you a review. So that sucks. Why didn't you get a review? You did a great job. You got their radon level down to virtually undetectable numbers, but they didn't leave you a review. So we're going to run a new trigger that in the pipeline that says, review not given. And so now we're going to set up a trigger that says, the contact changed, and maybe something in the contact we're going to change inside there. We're going to create a custom field that says no review given. So as long as that says no review given, now I'm going to create an automation that goes out maybe 48 hours later, 72 hours later, a few days later, says, hey, just making sure everything's good. If you have any questions, let us know. Could you leave us a review? And then now we're going to wonder how many times we're going to send that. Our goal is to, get that to someone when they have a few minutes to do it, right? And so we want to get that review to them, and we're going to send it a few different times to try to get them at a time when they can do it. So we're going to send that. Maybe we have that go out once a week until the last thing we want is for someone to give you a bad review because they got tired of it, of you sending out those updates. But that's one way to create an automation that's asking for a review because of how important that is. Maybe that client, that customer left a review, they left a 5-star review. We know they're a happy customer. So now what are we going to do with that? Well, let's stay in touch with them. So now maybe we're going to create a drip campaign for happy customers. So on the 4th of July, we're going to send out an email that says Happy 4th of July. We love freedom and the freedom from radon in your home, right? So we send that out. They remember that, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I keep forgetting to call them about, a friend of mine that wants to get a test. If you can just stay in front of them, that's great. So we're going to create a drip campaign for them. And then we're going to also, one thing that happened here, it wasn't last year, but it was the year before. We got down into like the crazy sub-zero temperatures and, fans shut off, right? So maybe you create an email that is just ready to go, and you just go in and you could actually create a trigger. I could probably figure out how to do this based on the weather. So if the weather is equal to or less than, -5, or a wind chill of -20 or something like that, then it triggers this email. So again, we can get real creative with the things that we can do in an automation. But if I can keep from getting phone calls on that day, right, because everyone's fans shut off and people pay attention to it, then, we can send out an email that happens when that happens. But I'm also going to use that drip campaign with people that maybe are not customers yet. So maybe they are people like other contractors. Maybe they are other real estate agents would be a great thing. So if you have a list of real estate agents, you can send out a drip campaign that is triggered. One of the best responses I got in an email campaign was when we had incredibly heavy winds for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and it was, the winds were sustainable enough that a radon test should have been invalidated. And so I sent out an email to my list of realtors in our area saying, hey, just FYI, really crazy winds make for invalidated radon tests. So if you have any out there right now and your radon testing company is not invalidating the test, you should be concerned. And if you have a buyer or you are a seller, it obviously changes that a lot. So I got a bunch of responses from that because I had people that had tests out there that were not getting invalidated and they were not contacted by their testing company. And that earned me some business. So that is a drip campaign, but it may just be a, hey, here's something you need to know about Radon. And so we're going to run that through an automation, and then we can have it so if a contact emails you back, then it's going to see it inside of the CRM, and now I know I'm going to maybe use that to make a list of more engaged real estate agents. And you're going to hear me talk about things you could do to build your business. One of them is take a real estate agent out to lunch. So if I take a real estate agent out to lunch, I want to I want to know which ones are ones that are engaging with me. So that's something I can do. Let's say that you have a client that is not that you sent a quote to. It's a concerned homeowner. They're not under any deadline for a real estate transaction. They've been meaning to get that radon system installed, but they just haven't. Right. So they've contacted you. You went out, you did a quote, but never heard back from the quote. I'm going to run that person through a pipeline that says, okay, quote given on the 3rd. So on maybe, Saturday's the 4th, Sunday's the 5th. So on the 6th, maybe 6th or 7th, I'm going to send out an email to them and said, hey, check it in. Just want to if you have any questions about the quote, if you're ready to schedule service, we're excited to help get radon out of your house. No response. I'm going to wait 4 or 5 more days. I'm going to send another email, maybe a text this time. Again, you're just trying to land somebody in a time when they're around their computer, they're around their phone, they're around their calendar, and they want to do it. Obviously, let's say their radon level is 4.5, right? Or 3.5. They know that they know it's in a level, but they're not freaking out about it, right? So we just want to gently send some automated emails to them or contact things to them, and you can decide how aggressive you want to be with that. I have some people that are kind of silly, and they're like, hey, we've sent out a search party. We've called in the Civil Air Patrol. We're looking for you because we haven't heard back from you. What are the things that we can do to try to generate that response back from that client? And again, our goal is sales here. So we're trying to automate things that are happening in the background that we don't even we're not even paying attention to. Those emails are going out. Those text messages are going out to the client, just trying to get a hold of them. I want to plant once I get all my landscaping done, I want to plant 40 arborvitaes in my backyard. So I went to fastgrowingtrees.com and I sign, it's like, oh, if you sign up for our text messages, we'll give you 30% off. I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. So I signed up for it. I get a text message from them almost every single day, And I don't stop the text messages because it's still on my plan to do it. It's actually not probably going to happen this fall. It's probably going to happen in the spring. So I'm going to get 150 more text messages from them. Well, geez, just saying it out loud, right? But I don't delete them because I asked for it. That's something I want. The company that I get my shirts printed from, they send me a deal because they do all kinds of different screen printing, embroidery, all kinds of stuff we give away. And, every once in a while it's like, hey, we're doing this polo today. If you buy 5, you get 5 for free. All right. Well, that intrigues me. It's a little bit different in the radon, business. A lot of times these are clients that are, one time and done. Obviously maybe in testing, it might be a little bit different that we can follow up with them for follow-up tests or things like that. But, we want to take advantage of having this stuff run in the background automatically. So maybe we send out a message that, goes out in 2 weeks. Hey, it's been a couple weeks since we sent you that quote. We're trying not to bother you, but, maybe you throw in some radon facts. Did you know that, you could really get into the weeds on the email if their radon level, have it in their contact, in their contact in your CRM in ours, you have the radon level. So let's say the radon level is 25, right? I could write a script that says if the radon level is above 20 and below 30, then I could send them an email that says, did you know that a radon level that's in your home is like smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, or whatever the thing is, right? So I'm going to try to do something that's even personalized, even at that level, that's automated, that goes out and we're trying to close those kind of cold leads, right? Because if I have 100 of those and I can get 10%, and I'm averaging, $1,800 on a job, well, yeah, I just added $18,000 to our bottom line because I have something running in the background, right? So huge potential to have those things running, and also just to free up time in your office and like that. So we're going to run those follow up on a quote. Obviously, we have the reviews follow up. We have the day of. We have the if there are things that are required of your warranty or your guarantee, like for instance, they have to have a test once a year or once every 2 years in order to hold on to the warranty. I know some of you guys, that's how you're running your guarantee or your warranty on your systems. Then and especially, again, not in Illinois. I know we've got guys in Ohio and Iowa and places, Wisconsin, where you're testing and mitigating. So you're providing that test for them. So maybe you send out an automation that's at the 6-month mark, the 1-year mark, saying, hey, it's time for your annual test. Maybe you are running some type of maintenance program, and now they're paying you $75 a year, and you do a test every 2 years or something like that, or $100 a year, and so now we're sending out that email for the test, for the follow-up test. You can just send an email once every 6 months and say, hey, we love referrals. If you've got someone that you refer to us and they need a test, we'll do it for 50% off as a, and they will thank you for that, right? Whatever it is, I'm going to try to create automations that are going to run in the background, based on the triggers that we can set up, the things that come in, the things that change in the business, that change in the contact, that change in the lead, so that we're generating automations to happen, actions to happen in the background, so that we're selling when we're not selling. I'm trying to, I'm going to use the automations to say, job completed, move this person to this part in the pipeline, move this person to this, in our contact form, in our database. We're going to do that thing. Maybe I have people who haven't paid, and so maybe I have automated actions that are going out that are sending them updates on making sure their payment is made. Maybe we're doing things, if you have a larger company and you have automations that would send out the contact details and things to your team on where they're working or what they're doing. So all of this stuff, it doesn't just go out to to your customers. It can also automate things inside to you. So my favorite one is when a lead comes in. I like getting a text message instantly. Like when that contact form, I don't even want to wait for the email to come in. I want to get a text message that said, I just got a lead. Because the speed to lead, if you are in the office, if you're in the field, I want you to be able to pick up the phone right then and there and respond to that lead right when that person is, is thinking about radon, right? Because if you're not, if they don't get anything from you, they're moving on to the next person. So I love that text message right away, just letting the business owner or the salesperson or whoever it is get to that right away. That's my, that's one of my favorite automations. But yeah, I mean, it's we can use automations to help create. Excuse me. In in Illinois, we're creating a database of all our mitigations, all of our tests that have to go into a database that is submitted into the state of Illinois. So let's create an automation that does that. When the job is done, we enter in all the information into our CRM, and we can set a trigger that once it's flagged as job completed, and it has your tag number, it has all the information, all that kind of stuff. It literally can send that over to Google Sheets, right? And then you have just a master list on Google Sheets that you can export out into an Excel file. So that's an automation. Guys, there's literally so many things that we can do that we can automate your business. I am scratching the surface. I just kind of wanted to get you like thinking about what can we do that makes it, that can take steps that we repeat, sending emails, sending, if you have an email that you copy and paste, then it can be repeated, right? It can be automated. So that is what we're trying to create and free up time, and also, go out and, and attract more business in that way, or generate more business in that way, because we are using this technology, using these opportunities. And again, a lot of this time, we set this up once and we just let it run, right? And so there's so many different ways. You can have that multi-touch remind ladder, right? It's 48-hour email, 24-hour. Maybe it's an SMS that comes 15 minutes before the job. It sends out a thing, or an hour before the job. If something happens, then click here, and the client can click there, and then they can reschedule it. If you can have that, tech is on the way emails. You can have, we can run separate, routing based on where the lead came from. So maybe you're running Google Ads, and now we're going to trigger a specific, a specific automation based on that. If they call in and there's an emergency. So, I know with Jim's phone agent, if the caller says flood or emergency or something like that, if there's an electrical problem, smoke, right? There's trigger words inside of the AI agent. It stops the process at that point and immediately dials Jim's cell phone 24/7. And so you can have that, emergency escalation where we create a trigger that if you have a big staff, it now connects everyone's phone. We can use the triggers to the automation to do a round robin, right? And automate it so when the phone call comes in, it rings to different people's phones until somebody answers it. So it doesn't go to a voicemail. It goes through everybody. Everybody gets a chance to answer that phone. And so I like the thank you, running referrals, sending out something 30 days later. If you have a quote that's been out there that's been aging, 10 days later, it's like, okay, what's stopping you from, to doing this mitigation? Maybe you have a list of really cold leads that you've done quotes on, and you go into a slow season and you're gonna do a deal saying, hey, listen, if you schedule in the month of October, maybe October's slow for you, schedule in the month of October and using this link and click here, and you're gonna get 10% off your mitigation system. So what can we do to get those, or hey, we're going to send you a free charcoal test or something like that. Um, and so it maybe they're a new lead and they haven't done a quote yet. So maybe we create some automations to warm up the lead. So we're going to do like an educational drip campaign. So it's like explaining what radon is, how testing works, what it's like to to have a system installed, how long, so kind of like an FAQ. So there's just literally so many things on here that you can do, the in actions and things and stuff that that we can put in there. So that's kind of where we're at today. I just wanted to hopefully pique your interest a little bit on the possibilities of automations, the things that can be done, even like the most basic things, but obviously, going into some really intricate plugins and things that you can have. Like I said, you can have it go out and do surveys. You can have it go out and do, like I said, those payment things. You can have it go out and you can have it trigger a Zoom call. I mean, like, there's literally everything that you can do on this. So that's where it's at. I haven't seen any comments coming in on either side. If you have questions, here's your chance. But if you're watching this later and you're seeing it in Facebook, seeing it on YouTube, and you want to get more deep into any of these things that I've kind of scratched the surface on, let me know. I can make it into a different seminar, a different day. Obviously, we could do a one-on-one. I can show it to you. Just give me a buzz, and we'll get on the horn and talk about this stuff and how we can incorporate it into your business. But yeah, if you can come up with if this happens, then this happens, then we can make it happen, right? We can create an automation that is functional for your business, makes it more efficient, because the more efficient you can be, then obviously the more profitable you can be. And if you can reallocate the resources of maybe someone in the office who would normally be sending these emails out or be doing these things, what could they be doing that is that a computer can't do or the human has to do? That's, writing a handwritten thank you note, right? Or calling people and talking to them in person. Or maybe that person in your office is your person that goes out and has lunch with real estate agents, and you just give them a budget of $100 a week, and they're going out and doing 3-4 lunches a week, because they're not spending the time, those actual personal touch things that the automation can't do but is doing, so it allows them to do it. So that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. I know we've had a few people jump in and out, and also on the Facebook feed as well. So I'm here for this. This is this is the stuff we geek out on, to just make it better and better and better for your business. So I think that's it. We'll be back next Friday. I guess that's the 10th. And we're getting dangerously close. So just a few weeks away from the IEAR symposium down in Dallas, Fort Worth. So really looking forward to seeing everybody down there and having more conversations about about AI and automations and things like that can make your business even better, bigger, stronger, more efficient. So I I think that's it for today. a lot to soak in, and we will we'll be in touch. See us over in the Facebook group if you haven't joined us over there, and otherwise, yeah, we will see you next week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.